Greetings, beautiful humans. I'm Dimitri Ananaya, and welcome to Breaking the Rules. Listen, I want you to grab a piece of paper, your notebook, and I want you to write down what your point of departure is. Now that we have an authentic sense of what our departure point is, where we're going, and we know a little bit about some of our story, who taught us what we know, whether it was conditioned, societal, experiences that we formed beliefs about who we say we are, of our values and our worth, and how long that has been suppressing us from attaining the manifestation of the changes that we seek in our life. We're going to take a look at your rules, because one thing I know to be true is that every single person that has ever sat down in front of me, myself included, we have rules. I'm going to give you an example. I talked a little bit about my fear of creating an online coaching program. It was bigger than what I thought I was capable of, and so having to navigate not only the connections um, behind the scenes with all the apps and platforms that are being used to create it. I also had to rewrite and design the program in a way that made it applicable to people from all stages of their journey, whether they were on a spiritual journey or aware that they were on a spiritual journey or not. I had to be able to break down these bigger um, formulas and methods so that it would be a little bit easier. And it's still really difficult. I've beta tested this several times before putting it all together, having listened to several clients share with me their experience within toxic living. So it was very daunting and overwhelming. And then the social media piece, being able to talk to the world. Was bigger than what I was expecting. So I had a lot of rules and a lot of belief systems in place. And so a lot of times when we're looking at our point of departure of where we're going, suddenly we get overwhelmed by all of the bigness of what we're seeking to manifest. And we're looking at it from the reference point of I'm not enough, which is why suddenly it feels overwhelming and too much for us to live, experience, and have in our life. So what happens is we have these thoughts. Some of them are conditions. So I'm going to share a few of them with you so you can get a better example of how to look at these up and coming segments and modules. So as you are breaking the rules, we have them. And these are known as self-imposed limitations and places of self-sabotage. We're doing it all the time, and we're unaware most of the times that we're doing it from a place of fear and resistance. And we want to end that resistance. So write down your point of departure. Then I want you to list all of the reasons, and some of those reasons may have come up as you were doing your 7-level drill down. However, I don't want you to go back into your notes. Don't cheat. I want you to look at your point of departure. And most of the times, our rules come as if whens. I'll do this when. So if it's love and relationships, I want a person that does this. And it's okay, mind you, to be seeking the type of details that will attract that. But if we're not open to the experience and we're applying an if when condition, and that's a rule, it's a rule that says, I will be open to a partner when, and not necessarily when the person shows up, when they show me that I can trust them, when they show me that they love me, when they treat me in a certain way. These are rules, right? Another example of a rule, because the if when is the biggest one that I hear happening a lot inside of people. Another rule is I'm pausing because there's so many, and I'm hearing so many rules come in. Another rule typically is I'm not sure this direction or this opportunity or alignment is for me. So we apply doubt, and that doubt comes in as um, I'm not ready. Um, I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. Um, they're also saying that other self limitations show up in them. They're I'm just hearing rapid fire, all the things that clients have ever said to me. They're just shooting them at me. So give me a second. Um, they're also saying that we also see red flags. We know that they're red flags, and when we're processing them as they're happening in real time, we kind of swat them away and say, okay, well, we justify the person and what they've been through as an excuse to why they're treating us or speaking to us or behaving in the way that they are. And we keep justifying it behind things like, oh, well, we've been with this person for a long time, or this is just how love works, or, it takes work in order to make a relationship work. So we have all of these justifiers, conditions, and rules that we're applying to it, right? But when we look at the point of departure and we think in the terms of I'm going on vacation, we're not thinking, what's the crime there? Are we going to be robbed? What's happening in the tourist area, of this city, country, or place? We don't look for things to go wrong, right? We're not looking at it from a point of view that something bad is going to happen, or what happens when I don't get it, or why isn't it, the universe manifesting it fast enough? We're reliving our old traumas. We're already applying the trauma to the manifestation before the energy of it is amplified enough to even attract that result. So what happens is that we keep playing in our mind, what is happening, instead of looking at it as an integral part of our current reality. And we stay in a place in the past, which breeds anxiety, which breeds more fear. So I want you to write down anything that you can remember having ever said or applied to it, because we are going to break those rules now. We are going to deepen our surrender. We're going to come from a perspective of engaging in the co-creating of the reality of its pre-existence in our life. And how do we do that is by breaking the perception of the past, because it isn't enough just to reframe what we believe to be true and what we feel. Our feeling experience is 9/10 of where our beliefs come from. They're not just statements. We believe them to be true because we've been wounded somewhere. So we are going to look at, and you are going to see all the things that you have said or are saying about the very thing that you want to manifest. What's inside? What do you hear come up? And as you're writing them down, spend some time in each of them and feel where you may feel pockets of sensations inside your body, because that's where that electrical charge of that emotion is presenting in your body. So we're going to take a look at that. And as you write those down, I don't want you to judge yourself. I don't want you to give yourself any judgment for believing what you believe and thinking what you're thinking, because you're only doing this to protect yourself. And that very same protection creates a tower of imprisonment. And we're going to break through that tower. We are going to shatter those walls. We are going to make them tumble down into small bits of rubble so that you can access pure desire, pure passion, and ignite your heart into accepting, receiving, and existing in a plane of peace and joy as you look at your intention. So let's get started. Namaste, and continue to your next module when you've completed this part of the assignment.